Hey guys, it's Lecky, and today we're going to be talking about why avoiding change is bad. So, if you're like me, you probably hate change. Change is the worst. I don't like change. I never really change anything. I try to keep everything the same. Try to keep my TVs, my computers, my phones, my life, my car, my clothes, everything the same, because change is scary. But the one thing about change is inevitable. You're going to have to change. One day my phone's gonna break and I'm gonna have to get a new one. My car's gonna reach its expiry date. It's gonna have too many kilometers on it and it's done. My clothes are gonna have holes in them. I'm gonna get new ones. And when I do, sometimes it's not the worst. Recently I went and got some new clothes. I haven't got new clothes in years. And it was scary, but it was good. I got new clothes and they're better than I've ever had. They're cleaner, they're not worn down, no holes. I like it, change isn't always the worst. And, I'm not good with the change, but my whole life has been changed recently. I've tried to keep things the same, but changing is something you need to do to better yourself. Even though it's scary, you have to do it. So I've changed whole jobs, and I've changed not just jobs, I've changed whole services, or what you'd call, categories of them. I've changed whole. So I didn't just change my clothes or, my phone. I changed further things. I changed things like my job or even the industry that I was in. I moved to another one, so change isn't always the worst, and it worked out better for me. I have more money, more time, and I do less effort for these things. So it worked out better for me, but I would never have gotten this stuff if I never took initiative to change certain things. But the big steps, you can't just jump into the lake. You have to put your feet in the puddles first. The first thing I realized was things like hobbies and stuff. The first time I ever watched UFC, I was 12 years old. My father showed me, and, I thought this was stupid. I didn't want to watch it, but then I loved it. And I thought, what if that changed? I didn't do that. What if someone didn't show me that? I would miss out on something that I really enjoy. So change opens up experiences that you would never ever have unless you had the change. I've done things, been to places, that I've never done. I would never do these if I didn't do it, if I didn't try. It helped me create hobbies, not just like UFC, but even things going out. My girlfriend showed me places, like she does a lot of thrifting. I've never thought of this. I never wanted to do this. You know what I mean? But if I didn't go with my girlfriend, I would never experience these. Change has to happen. If you don't change, then you will impede on your progress. Progress only happened because of change. Things have only happened because people have seen something and changed it into something else. If we kept everything the same, we wouldn't have anything. Like I said, I moved whole industries. I moved from the retail business to warehousing. But I didn't just jump into the lake. You know what I mean? I had to work my way up to that position. So when I was 18 years old and I was working at a restaurant and I was a cook, I thought, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be making carbonaras the rest of my life. There's a chef next to me, he's one of my best mates, and he was been here for 30 years. I don't want to be like him. So change has to happen. Even if I'm scared, I have to change. And when I was 19, I got a part-time job at a warehouse that I worked simultaneously with the restaurant, just to kind of dip my feet in the waters. You know what I mean? And once I did that, I figured out, I like warehousing and I also like restaurants. So I have to figure out what I want to do. And I can't take that giant step to just, completely going out of warehousing. And I thought, how can I make this process a little bit easier for me? So the first thing I did was, at the time I had a iPhone X would have been, and I liked iPhone. I always had iPhone. But I thought now's the time, and I changed. I went to a Samsung, and that was, even that, not in jobs or anything, just changing what phone I had was big for me. So that took me at least a month or two to even get over that. And then once I changed my phone, I went to the next thing, which is I changed, my car. I had this, not very good car, unreliable. And I went and got a good car, reliable car. And that change was big for me. I didn't have to take public transport. I didn't have to do any of this stuff. Massive. And then once I did that, I knew, the next step is going to happen. So I went and got a full-time warehouse job. I moved complete industries. and that was hard for me, but once I did that, I realized nothing's hard really, and then when I was in that warehouse job, I got offered an even better position at another place for even more money. So I left, and I wouldn't even be set up for that to happen if I didn't do the starting process. I had to move from the first job to a mid job and then got a prime time job. And the things that made it easier to change would be comparing. Like on my first job, I was getting paid $20 an hour. And then on my second job in the warehouse, I got paid $30. So I got paid $10 extra. I compared them. I was like, I'm getting paid $10 extra. I can work, same amount of hours and get paid hundreds of dollars more. And then when they offered me my new job, I'm getting paid $45 an hour. And then on the weekends, it's $58, So that is almost more than double what I was getting paid 3 years ago. Yeah, and this is only possible because of change. If I stayed at that place, I would be getting paid the same amount of money I would be getting paid back then. I would be getting paid $20 an hour, cash in hand, until I was 50 years old, passed out and died. When you're talking about comparing things, you don't have to compare jobs or how much money you make. You can compare little things. I remember when I changed from my iPhone to the Samsung, I could just do little things I couldn't do on the iPhone. When you compared them together, my phone lasted longer. I could use whatever headphone I wanted. You know what I mean? I could drag files, music, whatever I wanted off my computer onto my phone. Made it easier, When I was making music, I could just put any beat that I created on my computer. I can stick it onto my phone like it was nothing. I didn't have to get some third-party app on an iPhone and make it verified and try to get it through it. I didn't have to try and jailbreak my phone to try to get things I wanted. The Android, which is a much easier thing to use. Yeah, and once you compare things, you can understand why people change, I didn't want to do these videos, but when you compare me just not uploading anything really, and then me uploading these almost once a week, plus other things, it puts in the comparison that I should have been doing this the whole time. Change, me being scared of doing this wasn't as good. If I changed earlier, would I have been further? You wouldn't really know that because I didn't take that step. So you don't want to have that thing in the back of your head saying you wish you should have done this earlier. But you'd rather start a year late than waste another 20 is what they usually say. Some people waste their whole lives. There's a good quote most people say is, where is the most, real estate in the world? It's in the ground. Because, most people die with billion-dollar ideas in their head that they never got out. And I'm not going to be one of them. Everything I ever want to do, I want to do it. And the only way to do it is to change. To quit distractions, to quit doing everything that you don't want to do. If you know you don't like it, then you don't have to do it. Change can get you further than you ever believed. And trying to escape change is the worst. You're just giving yourself unnecessary pain on your, mental. Trying to run away from change is inevitable. You're always going to have to change. And the more you try to run away from it, you're just giving yourself unnecessary anguish and mental torment at that point, when you could just figure it out and make yourself easier on you. Change and gradually, small, step by step, ease yourself into it. Make that change not so hard. That's what I've done with most things in my life. Tried to ease the pain of change, but this is just my opinion. And thank you for listening to me. It's been Lecky, and this has been why avoiding change is bad.